The biggest misconception of the youth today is सबको business बेच के पैसा बनाने में ऐसा होता नहीं है.
Do you have any regrets about selling it?
I don't have any regrets about selling it because the decision I took, right? Do I miss it? Yes, I do.
You went
After I graduated college and my parents spent like 2 CR on my education in 4 years abroad, 15 साल पहले, I had a 40,000 rupee a month internship. Before my first day of work, I said, Dad, मुझे पता नहीं कि internship job में convert होगा कि नहीं convert.
Right.
I became in 1 year the e-commerce expert for the whole fund in Asia.
That's
and eventually when I left that job in 2016, I was earning 30 lakhs.
What was your one mantra for becoming indispensable?
I picked up part of the business that nobody had grasped on and I became the expert in that business. I went to every conference, I knew every founder, I knew every metric and I immersed myself in.
What makes you zero in on a person? What makes you see promise in a person?
So I think it's a few qualities. It's clarity, कि मुझे करना ही करना है, ambition, that I will get to it, and grit/resilience. This problem means enough to me that जब tough times आएंगे, I will fight with my back against the wall to me. What I do say to entrepreneurs is you have to be consistent. You need to show up every day because you never know when the opportunity comes. But if you don't show up every day, the day the opportunity comes, you can't have. That is the most dangerous thing to do because.
Hi, welcome to LPO Talks, a space that ignites and inspires. Today's guest is a dynamic blend of tradition, innovation, and entrepreneurial spirit. Mr. Arjun Vaidya, the founder of Dr. Vaidya's, who pivoted to being a venture capitalist, an influencer sharing gripping stories on social media, and a TV personality with his show Idea Buzz. Welcome to LP Talks, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be back on the campus and to be with you for this conversation.
Such a pleasure to have you here. So tell us, you started with a legacy business which wasn't inherited. You reinvented it. You came into Ayurveda with a 150-year-old legacy in Ayurveda. So how and what inspired you to do?
The business was in my family for 150 years.
Yeah.
In that my last name is Vaidya and Vaidya means Ayurvedic doctor. So मेरी परिवार में 150 साल की आयुर्वेदा की परंपरा है.
Yeah.
My दादा, great grandfather and generations before सब आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर्स थे. But उनके लाइफ में कोई बिजनेस नहीं बना. They were doctors, they ran a clinic and they were medical professionals. मेरे दादाजी की क्लिनिक में दिन के 300 पेशेंट्स आते थे.
Wow.
There were 12,000 patients on a monthly basis who wrote them via post from across India.
Wow. And was it free or?
Correct. Because he wanted more people to gain accessibility to this. Clinic में consultation free था.
Right.
अगर आप कोई दवाई लेते हो तो you have to pay for that.
That's what I remembered you talking about.
And that's why there was 300 people a day coming to that clinic.
Yeah.
A funny story actually is my father-in-law and mother-in-law were dating and my father-in-law is Sindhi and my mother-in-law is Gujarati, so the families were not so happy about it. My father-in-law, like me, suffered from asthma. And so it was a 3-hour wait to see my dada and he would go to see my dada for his asthma. And the dates would be waiting for my dada. So they would sit in the waiting room and meet my dada. So I think family mein legacy aur ye parampara tha, but my dad graduated from college. He didn't want to be a doctor. He studied business and marketing and end of 1980 में उनका ये आइडिया था कि अभी FMCG brands इंडिया में बन रहे हैं. It was the first wave of FMCG consumer brands. Unilever scale हो रहा था. My dad, Dabur बन रहा था. तो he said कि जो हमारे क्लिनिक में ये दवाइयाँ हैं जो हजारों पेशेंट्स तक पहुंच रहे हैं, can we take it to lakhs of people through distribution? तो जो दवाई हमारी क्लिनिक से बिक रही है वो केमिस्ट शॉप से भी बेचेंगे. So he convinced my dada to do a TV ad and make the product at scale. But you'll know that doctors, CAs, lawyers, उनके business में loss कभी नहीं आता है.
True.
It's less money or more money, right? Because they're professionals. And they're professionals.
Yeah.
So when my dada started this business, for the first 1-2 years, you lose some money until you build the business.
Yes.
When my dada saw a loss on the P&L, he had never seen कि life में कभी loss हुआ है.
So that was intimidating.
And so he told my dad कि ये business मेरी बस की बात नहीं है. तो if you want to continue to work with me, you can work in my clinic. And अगर नहीं करना है और अगर नहीं करना है तो कुछ और कर लो.
Your dad was also qualified to be in the clinic?
He was not qualified to be a doctor, but he could work to do something else in the clinic. And so my dad said to my dada कि seeing sick people every day and healing them is your high.
Yeah.
But for me, it's depressing to see sick people every day. And so my dad went his own way and he started a pretty successful jewelry and watch business. He's been running it for 40 years now. But I was born with asthma. I suffered from juvenile bronchitis. I grew up with pumps, nebulizers, inhalers, steroids. My dada got me on Ayurvedic treatment when I was 2 years old. And by 15 and a half, I was cured of asthma completely. And I have actually I've not had asthma attack for 15 to 17 years.
Which is unheard of, I think.
And completely cured. But actually I was in Delhi before this and I actually felt like my asthma was coming back because of the pollution. So I promised my dada when I was cured of asthma. And for me, getting cured of asthma was one thing and it was important. But also, I'm a huge cricket fan.
Right.
Massive cricket fan.
Right.
When I was 5 years old, I went to the cricket field to go for cricket coaching. And by the time I was 7, my dada moved me off because Bombay ki ground mein bahut dust hota hai.
Right.
And dust is not good for an asthmatic.
Right.
So when I was 15 and I was cured of asthma, I started playing cricket again. And I became captain of my school cricket team.
Wow.
Not because I was the best player, but because I was the most regular to play.
That's inspiring.
And itni अच्छी team नहीं थी. 4-5 matches खेले in the whole history of our team.
Right.
But मेरे लिए it was a symbolic moment because I loved cricket and I couldn't play cricket and Ayurveda allowed me to get rid of asthma and start playing cricket again. And so I promised my dada that time that when I come back, whenever I am in the working world, I'll ensure that I'll do something with this legacy. So मैंने एक promise बनाया था. And that promise eventually led me back to when he passed away, taking on this.
So you came good on that promise. And it's quite a big statement to make. It's a huge testimony to Ayurveda that you got cured and you ended up playing what you wanted to play. So that's a big deal. You know, you scaled this business, you built a brand based on a family legacy of 150 years. And then you built it to like unprecedented heights. And then you sold it when it was at its peak. And you were so young, you built it from scratch. How did you come to sell it? You know, your baby, it must have been so hard. I can't even like imagine you doing it, but yet you did it.
Yeah, look, I think पहले तो हमने business क्यों start किया? Why did we start this business? After I finished school, I went to the US to do my undergrad. I went there to study.
Yeah.
And वहाँ मुझे ये लगा कि US में तो योगा बहुत बड़ा है.
Yes.
Massive multi-billion-dollar industry in the US. And ये Indian योगा है. बट उन्होंने हमारा योगा को रीपैकेज करके एक कूल न्यू फॉर्मेट में नए कंज्यूमर्स को पेश करके बहुत पैसा बना रहे हैं. बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली इंडियन कंपनीज हैव नथिंग टू डू विद इट. एंड सो आई वाज वेरी डिसअपॉइंटेड एज अ पेट्रियोटिक इंडियन दैट वी हैड नथिंग टू डू विद इट. एंड सो आई टोल्ड माय दादा कि यू कांट लेट द सेम हैपन विद आयुर्वेदा. एंड व्हेन ही पास्ड, दिस वाज माय आइडिया विद डॉक्टर, मेक आयुर्वेदा अपीलिंग एंड एक्सेसिबल टू मॉडर्न कंज्यूमर्स. बिकॉज जब मैंने बिजनेस स्टार्ट की थी तो मोस्ट ऑफ माय रॉ मटेरियल सप्लायर्स वर गुजराती.
राइट.
माय फैक्ट्री वाज इन सिलवासा ऑन द बॉर्डर ऑफ गुजरात. माय फैमिली इज गुजराती. तो माय दादा ऑफ कोर्स स्पोक गुजराती टू ऑल ऑफ दिस पीपल. व्हेन आई वेंट टू दिस रॉ मटेरियल सप्लायर अमृतलाल टू बाय herbs from him, I didn't speak such good Gujarati. Right. He told me that either you learn to speak Gujarati or you send someone who speaks Gujarati to come and buy from me. So I used to take Gujarati class every Friday. My teacher used to come to the office and 12 to 1 I would learn Gujarati.
While building business.
While building the business. Wow. My teacher was about 55, 60 years old, Rashmi Ben. Now, she knew the ingredients of every single one of my product.
Wow.
So she knew कि hair oil में आंवला होगा और जो relaxation और stress का product है उसमें ब्रह्मी रहेगा और च्यवनप्राश में कौन से 20 ingredients जाते हैं और अश्वगंधा के क्या benefits है. She knew that. But anyone below her age actually had lost that information. And so जो Ayurveda का knowledge था, because of the lack of modernization, modern consumers had stopped being interested.
Absolutely, because I think Ayurveda का जो knowledge है, it is confined to a certain generation. Like young people do not find it cool. And you came into the business when
वो gap को हमें कम करना था. So that was the idea with Dr. Vaidya, just to bridge that gap. अभी जब हमने business start किया था, तो we were lucky कि online का wave just start हुआ था. We were the
that
first.
was in which year?
2016. We started the business, October. And by November 2017, we started our website. And एक साल में वहाँ से 2018 तक, end of 2018, हम हमारे website पे 50 orders per day कर रहे थे.
तो not bad.
वो हमारी देश की पहली D2C वेव थी कि पहले जो ऑनलाइन ब्रांड स्टार्ट हुए थे, मार्केट प्लेस तो बड़े थे. Amazon बड़ा था, फ्लिपकार्ट बड़ा था, नाइका बड़ा था, बन गए थे. बट आप कोई वेबसाइट पे जाके एक ब्रांड का प्रोडक्ट, दैट बिहेवियर वाज स्टिल कमिंग इन इंडिया एंड वी वर द फर्स्ट इन आयुर्वेदा.
You gave consultations to all your online.
हाँ, तो आई थिंक द प्रॉब्लम दैट वी फेस्ड एज अ बिजनेस वाज कि डाबर, इमामी, पतंजलि, वैद्यनाथ, जंडू, हिमालय सब बड़े कंपनीज हैं. उसके सामने हम कोई नई कंपनी थे, राइट? तो वी हैड टू फाइंड अ वे टू गेन ट्रस्ट इन कंज्यूमर. सो जो फ्री कंसल्टेशन मेरे दादाजी अपने क्लिनिक में देते थे, वी डिसाइडेड टू ऑफर दैट ऑनलाइन. So if someone calls from Anantnag, Muzaffarnagar, Trichy or Imphal, they can also have that consultation. And ये चला because Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai में 1 किलोमीटर की रेडियस में आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर मिल जाता है.
Right.
पर छोटे शहरों में इतना आसान नहीं है कि you get a high quality Ayurvedic doctor you can trust. And so this worked. It increased the accessibility of Ayurveda. I'm saying 50 orders a day and today 50 orders a day is nothing, right?
Yeah.
But 2018 में एक वेबसाइट से 50 orders per day आने, it's a big thing, right? A very exciting thing. And so we got to 50 orders a day, and then online business में ये खासियत है कि जब आपने product market fit establish किया, जब आपका business चल रहा है, तो you can move from first gear to second gear to third gear to fourth gear. And that's what we ended up doing. तो 2018 नवंबर में हम 50 ऑर्डर्स पर डे कर रहे थे और 2020 नवंबर में हम 5000 ऑर्डर्स पर डे।
वाओ! और ये आपने सोचा था, did you envision that it will come to this?
नहीं।
Because honestly, it's very daunting. जैसे आपने पहले बोला that Dabur, this Patanjali, all of these big names were in the market already when you stepped in. So that must have been so daunting. और आज की डेट में मुझे लगता है because of this e-commerce की boom है, every business is saturated.
Correct.
हर, चाहे वो फैशन है, चाहे वो आयुर्वेदा है, चाहे वो स्किन केयर है, चाहे वो कॉस्मेटिक्स है, आई थिंक there's a boom of brands everywhere.
Correct.
And it's all saturated. So according to you, in 2016, even Ayurveda was saturated with all of these big brands. How did you overcome that fear of failure and that daunting feeling कि इतने बड़े लोग हैं और I'm stepping into
this? I think
this?
there was one more daunting feeling, and the daunting feeling was कि मैं मेरे फैमिली की लेगेसी को आगे बढ़ा रहा हूँ।
हाँ, वो बड़ी एक शोल्डर करी आपने रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी।
जो कंपनी भी है, that company was named after my family as well. So if I mess this up, my family's name is also going down, right? Like my dada's name was on the door. Dr. Vaidya's New Age Ayurveda was the name of the company.
It's a huge responsibility to shoulder.
It's a very big responsibility.
Yeah.
But I think also the fact that it was my dada's legacy, in the tough times, it made me push hard. Right? जब आपके family की legacy को आप आगे बढ़ा रहे हो, तो even if it's harder, you'll fight a little bit more.
Yeah,
and I had a very close relationship with my dada and all of that. Right? So I think all of these things worked for us. Now coming to the selling part, right?
Yeah.
I think जब 2021 में हमने business बेची, तो वो जमाने में इतने businesses acquisitions होते नहीं थे. We were one of the first 2-3 DTC.
But what made you sell it? Being, your family's name is on this business, and you've scaled it to unprecedented heights, as I said before, and yet you decided to sell it. And I know that you and your wife built this brand.
Yes.
Like, she was a major
part of the business.
Yes.
I think पहले तो the crazy thing was before starting this company I used to work in finance. I worked in a private equity fund. तो मैं investing का काम करता. I understood this world of investments and all of that. मुझे तो ये समझ आया था कि acquisitions होते हैं, companies बिक
this was
जाते
normal
हैं.
for you because आप private equity में already काम कर चुके थे.
इंडिया में ये नया था. तो I remember जब मैंने company बेची थी, and it was for me a moment to celebrate, right? Because we reached a goal, and every entrepreneur finally wants to reach that goal, whether it's raising funding or selling the business or doing an IPO. ऐसे Lenskart ने IPO किया है. It's the end goal, and what are your end goals? And everyone has a different end goal. तो मुझे तो लगा था कि it's a big thing to celebrate, right? And then I heard that someone I know told somebody else I know that उसके dad को पैसे की जरूरत थी, तो उन्होंने business बेच दिया. Right?
Typical Indian mentality.
And that time acquisitions were not common. Today acquisitions are celebrated, it's talked
Fairly
about, etc.
common,
All
yes.
of that, right? Why did we sell the business? We had reached 100 CR ARR in the business, and लोग मुझे हमेशा पूछते रहते कि I got a deck today that I was reading in my car ride from the airport to LPU today, where the founder has just about started the business. 6-8 महीने हो गए business का, and he said in the presentation, invest in me, I'll sell this business in 3 years.
Wow.
That is the most dangerous thing to do, because मैंने business बेचने के लिए नहीं बनाई थी. Today in hindsight, I sold the business, etc. All of that, and people can say, oh, you planned it. I didn't plan it at all. I built a good business. The biggest misconception of the youth today is सबको business बेच के पैसा बनाना है, but ऐसा होता नहीं है. The fact that I was able to sell my business puts me in a group of less than 1% of entrepreneurs who are able to see this kind of outcome. Right? And so, what I tell entrepreneurs, what I tell young people is, आपको business बनाना है तो आप अच्छा business बनाओ. आगे बहुत से opportunities आएंगी. Maybe selling your business is one, maybe it's not. But if you build a business to sell and it's not able to sell, you're stuck in something you don't know, right? Now, why did we specifically sell the business? हमने 100 करोड़ की ARR तक business बनाई थी. हमें ये नहीं लगा था, हमारी गलती थी. If I look hindsight 2020 कि online businesses 400, 500, 1000 करोड़ तक पहुंच सकते हैं.
इतना भी बड़ा boom आ जाएगा. You did not.
हमें लगा कि 150, 200 crores पे tap out हो जाएंगे.
So you thought that you had reached that saturation point of your business. It won't go beyond this.
Yeah, I knew it would go beyond, but I didn't think कि यहाँ से 5 गुना growth possible था, and that is wrong. If now I see.
Do you have any regrets about selling it?
I don't have any regrets about selling it because the decision I took, right? Do I miss it? Yes, I do. तो I think हमारे 2 thought process थे. एक तो हमें नहीं लग रहा है कि ये ऑनलाइन ही इतना बड़ा बन सकता है,
right.
और ऑफलाइन से ये बिजनेस बढ़ेगा, बट ऑफलाइन में हमारी नॉलेज नहीं थी. हमने ऑफलाइन ट्राई किया था, एंड वी फेल्ड इन ऑफलाइन. and the people who were wanting to buy our business had good expertise in offline. तो ये सोच के हमने business बेच दिया था.
Right, so that was the idea behind it.
But
कि offline बढ़े.
I will say that all of this only works philosophically if the offer on the table is worth it.
Right.
And for us, we were getting paid fair value for our business, and we were getting compensated fairly, and so we sold the business. Every founder, her entrepreneur जो business बेचता है ना, everybody has an opinion after that. क्यों बेचा? Was it early? Was it late? People I knew well, people I didn't even know well had an opinion कि जल्दी बेचा और रहना चाहिए था. Some people said, "अरे, bought a decision, you sold at the right time." Answer is कि at that time, my wife and I thought it was the right decision to take,
Right.
and so I don't regret the decision, but I do miss.
Of course, the entire hustle behind it. I'm sure.
हसल हमारी 150 लोगों की टीम बन गई थी. इतना ग्रोथ देखा था हमने. And हर बिजनेस में स्ट्रगल का टाइम भी होता है. एंड फिर ये स्ट्रगल का टाइम जाता है और ग्रोथ का टाइम होता है. We were living that growth phase, so we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that is what you build it for, right? You build it to reach that level, and then of course. But tell me something, like you have spoken about becoming indispensable. That was really intriguing to me because हमें हमेशा से like what I have been taught is कि nobody is indispensable, and this is something that you cannot do. So just take it easy and do whatever you can do best. But you have specifically spoken about how you became indispensable, and that was like one underlying thing in your success story. So I want everybody to know, how did you do that?
I'll maybe talk about the story. And ये मेरे company और entrepreneurship journey के बहुत पहले थी. तो 2013 में I was graduating from college. मेरे सब दोस्त US में जो US में पढ़ रहे थे उनको US में रहना था, काम करना था.
Right.
जो UK में रह रहे थे उनको UK में रह के काम करना.
So your reason of coming back to India was your patriotic spirit?
No, I think one is patriotic, I love India, etc. all of that. The second is genuinely मुझे opportunity India में देखी.
अच्छा.
And I would say moving back to India was the best decision of my life. I thought the opportunity would be there in India. When I moved back to India, इतना अच्छा opportunity नहीं दिखा मुझे because it was end of UPA to scam after scam, corruption in the government,
Yes.
loss of investor confidence, rupee getting depreciated, highest it's ever been that year in the
Which still is.
percentage terms, still depreciating,
Yeah.
but I think everything was looking bad, right? But ठीक है, मुझे तो इंडिया आना था वापस, तो मैं आ गया. मेरे सब दोस्त यूएस में थे कि यूके में थे, तो मैं आ गया इंडिया वापस. मुझे प्राइवेट इक्विटी इन्वेस्टिंग में काम करना था इन ब्रांड्स. और मैंने अंडरग्रेड में इकोनॉमिक्स और पॉलिटिक्स पढ़ी थी, तो मैंने बिजनेस नहीं,
Right.
बिजनेस की डिग्री नहीं थी मेरे पास, राइट? सो इन दीज प्राइवेट इक्विटी फंड्स दे आर लाइक यू नीड अ बिजनेस डिग्री टू बी एबल टू बी हियर. एंड तो मुझे जॉब नहीं थी.
You were an
After I
intern.
graduated college and my parents spent like I think 2 CR on my education and 4 years abroad, and 2 CR at that time, 10 साल
Yes.
पहले,
Yeah.
15 साल पहले, I had a 40,000 rupee a month internship. That's what I got. But it was a great company and a great role. And so I remember my dad saying before my first day of work, I said, Dad, मुझे पता नहीं कि ये internship job में convert होगा कि नहीं convert
Right.
होगा. मैं पता नहीं, right? So he said कि whatever you do for the next 3 to 6 months, make yourself indispensable. I was fortunate कि 2013 में e-commerce just start हो रहा था हमारे देश में, and our fund had not made an investment in e-commerce, and we were looking at some deals, and they said, because you're the youngest member of the team, why don't you do it?
Right.
Why don't you look at...
Because you'll be more well versed with everything that's going on online.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so I became in 1 year the e-commerce expert for the whole fund in Asia.
Wow.
मैंने
That's
ऐसे कंपनीज भी evaluate किए थे जैसे मिंत्रा, जबोंग, पेपरफ्राई, ब्लूस्टोन, जिवामे,
amazing.
जो हमारे देश के पहले ऑनलाइन मार्केट प्लेसेस वर्टिकल
Yes.
ई-कॉमर्स बिजनेसेस थे. And after 1 year I got a full-time job.
That's
and eventually when I
commendable.
left that job in 2016, I was earning 30 lakhs per year.
What was your one mantra for becoming indispensable? Was it consistency?
No, I
or-
picked up part of the business that nobody had grasped on, and I became the expert in that business. I went to every conference, I knew every founder, I knew every metric. वो ज़माने में lifetime value, customer acquisition cost, cohorts, repeat rates, वो किसी को भी नहीं पता था. But I knew all of this, right? And I immersed myself in it.
Wow. So there's a learning there.
So yesterday, for example, we had a dinner in Delhi, and I was with the India head for Airbnb, India and South Asia head for
Wow.
Airbnb, Amanpreet. And so one of my colleagues said, how do you know him? Like we don't do work with Airbnb, etc. I said, नहीं, 2013-14 में जब मैं e-commerce पे काम कर रहा था मेरे पहले जॉब में, तब before being the India head of Airbnb, Aman had sold a company that was doing online electronics to Flipkart in 2012. And वो समय में I needed a expert to learn about e-commerce, and so I reached out to Aman, and that's when our friendship started. 12 years
Wow.
ago.
So networking plays a big role in
And
one's
just
growth.
saying that I want to know everything about this space. Whatever is there to know about this space, I want to know it.
Just imbibe everything there is to imbibe.
Take as much knowledge as you can.
Yeah, great. That's a good learning. So tell me one thing, now that you back investors, you back these young founders with your investing, what makes you zero in on a person? What makes you see promise in a person? What are the qualities you're looking for that seal the deal for you?
हमारे स्टेज पे जब हम इन्वेस्ट करते हैं तब इट्स वेरी क्वालिटेटिव राइट बिकॉज यूजुअली इट्स एन आइडिया लिटिल बिट ऑफ एग्जीक्यूशन थोड़े बहुत कस्टमर्स बट बिजनेस पूरी तरह से बना नहीं है इट्स नॉट एन एक्सेल शीट इवैल्यूएशन एज सच
It's still very nascent.
करेक्ट सो बेसिकली आप लोगों में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं एंड ऐसा नहीं है कि जो बिजनेस में आपने इन्वेस्ट किया जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल yesterday I was in Delhi and I met one company I invested in 2021. That company has grown 170 times from 5 lakhs a month to 8.5 crores a month.
170 times.
170 times.
Wow.
But the company is not doing what it used to do. When I invested in the company, it was called ZFW Hospitality. They were helping brands set up, share cloud kitchens in cities they are not present in.
Okay.
So if I have a burrito brand in Bombay and I want to open in Chandigarh and I don't want to open my own cloud kitchen, I can go to a pizza guy in Chandigarh and say, can I take half the space or 1/4 space, right? That's what he started with. That's what I invested
Right.
in. आज वो business same day, next day delivery and quick commerce type delivery D2C brands के लिए create कर रहा है and he's creating dark stores across the country. अभी 300 dark stores हैं. तो it's not the same business. But I knew कि ये बंदा कर लेगा. He's so ambitious. He wants to do it. He has the hunger. He has the grit and कर लेगा. So that was the real excitement and enthusiasm that I saw.
You see ambition, grit.
So I think it's a few qualities, right? It's clarity, कि मुझे करना ही करना है, ambition, that I will get to it, and grit / resilience. कि this problem means enough to me that जब tough times आएंगे, I will fight with my back against the wall to make this work. I think those are the qualities really you see in the best entrepreneur.
And what are the things that completely, put you off in a person? Like a business can be very promising, but something that would be complete turn off for you.
I think two things for me. One is doing entrepreneurship for the glamour.
Right.
Because पहले में glamour होता है, like articles आ जाते हैं, awards मिल जाते हैं, but that all fades away.
I think of youth में ना, they're very starry-eyed when it comes to entrepreneurship. कि यार founder बनना है.
अभी 2025 में entrepreneurship has become glamorous.
Yes.
Entrepreneurs are on TV, IPOs are happening, there are TV
like
shows.
You have made it glamorous.
Entrepreneurs have social media following.
Yes.
तो बाहर से लगता है कि क्या लाइफ है इनका.
नहीं, because people like you have made it very glamorous. You are a great content creator. You are on TV now.
But what it misses is that there is so much that goes into it, right? So I'm here today. But I've been on the road for the last 5 days. I was in Udaipur, Jaipur, Delhi. I'm here and then I'm back in Bombay this evening.
Wow.
That's the grind we live, right? And I'm not complaining about it. I'm used to it. That's my life, etc. All of that. I have no problems with it. But people who are doing it just for the glamour, when the tough times come, they won't like it. That's one. And two, हर company ना cycle में नहीं बनती है. तो अगर आज AI is hot, yesterday fintech was hot, before that food delivery was hot, before that health and wellness and immunity was hot. But if you were building let's say you were building a medical apparel business, doing PPE and N95 masks in COVID.
Yeah, that was COVID में.
It's a COVID business, right?
बहुत boom आया था.
But those businesses don't exist today, right?
Yeah, that's so true.
Other than Delhi, you don't use N95 masks anywhere.
Yeah.
So you have to build a business that is cycle proof.
Right.
Which means that even if it's not hot tomorrow, there has to be a reason for a business to exist.
So you can pivot. When it's not hot, you can pivot.
No. You have to care about the problem so much that even when the market is not supporting you, the business should still exist.
Wow.
Because if you build only in a cycle and that cycle goes away after 2 years, then you will change your business every 2 years or change your business every 1 year. That makes.
So what do you do when the cycle gets over? What do you do?
Let's say, for example, I've invested in a low-cal, zero-sugar ice cream business. I invested in the business 2.5 years ago. At that time, neither was health such a big thing, neither was quick commerce such a big thing. But he said, I want to build this low-cal, zero-sugar ice cream because India has 140 million diabetics and more than 100 million people who will be diabetic soon. उनको भी आइसक्रीम चाहिए और उनको नॉन ग्लूकोज स्पाइक आइसक्रीम चाहिए, तो उनके लिए मैं बना रहा हूँ. And then fortunately for him, the health wave came, right? Like I saw some stats that Zomato's healthy mode is now live in 7 cities, and Dipinder put a post that in the 7 cities that Zomato's healthy mode is live, 5% of Zomato orders are already healthy orders. 11% of ice cream sold on quick commerce is low cal, zero sugar now.
Wow.
It was 0 3 years ago.
So you need far-sightedness.
You need far-sightedness, but you also need enough passion that today the market may not support, 2 years later it may support, 3 years later it may support. Like I've invested in a business called Salad Days. It's the largest healthy food QSR cloud kitchen in the country. The guy started the business 10 years ago. At that time, nobody was having salad. But he was passionate enough to ride through the cycle, and now in the last 2-3 years, people are going crazy to have salad. But he kept it going on for 7 years because he knew that at some point it will come to him.
Right.
And that is a real entrepreneur.
So it's a wave. Like you start, you're at the bottom, then you're at the top, then again you're at the bottom. So
what I do say to entrepreneurs is you have to be consistent and you have to show up every day, because you never know when the opportunity comes.
right.
But if you don't show up every day, the day the opportunity comes, you can't grab it.
So tell me something, like I learned this in one of your podcasts only, be it skincare, be it cosmetics. It can, like you said, it's cyclical. Like even in cosmetics, there was a wave of Ayurveda, then there was a wave of these actives, you know. So if I'm a brand of cosmetics and I'm doing Ayurveda, and suddenly actives are in now. Actives are the big thing now. So what do I do then?
So it's a great example. Forest Essentials and Kama are still selling Ayurveda. Right?
Yes.
Because there are still customers who want Ayurveda. IndieWild is still selling Champi oil. They're adding some actives to it, but they're not going away from the initial positioning.
Yeah.
If you were an entrepreneur who rode waves, you would switch Ayurveda to actives.
Yes, yes,
And then you would switch it to the next big thing.
yes.
But a real brand sticks to its core. It may, like, let's say for example, you're climbing a mountain, right? You want to get to the summit of the mountain. You climb up a little bit and then there's a avalanche or a landslide. You go back down and then you try another route to get to the summit of the mountain. But you want to get to the summit of that mountain. You don't say, "Acha, ye mountain nahi hoga, to main dusre mountain mein jaunga. Wo bhi nahi hoga, to main teesre mountain mein jaunga."
So
No.
you'll try
you want to get to
different
the
ways
summit
to
of the
get to
mountain,
that.
but trying, you can try a different path.
Yes.
Be rigid about the summit. Be flexible about the path to get to the summit.
That's
what
a
I tell
great
entrepreneurs.
example. Like have your eye on the goal.
Correct.
At all times.
Correct.
And just change your strategy, re-strategize. Great. So I want to know, like, you know, looking at people like you were an entrepreneur and now you're a content creator and on TV. Tell me, like, I see a wave of people who are building in public. Like even entrepreneurs want to be online, want to be more visible. So is it the next big thing now? Like, do entrepreneurs need to be visible? Does everybody need to be visible now?
I think it establishes a connect with your customer. Because customers don't just care about what or how, they now care about why. Why did you create this product? Where did it come from? What's the story behind the product? They're looking for that, right? Like, I love to give this example. My dadi has been a customer of Pond's cold cream
Wow,
for the last 50 years. She must have bought more than 1,000 units of this product, maybe 500-600 for herself, and then gifted it to so many people. Pond's doesn't know who my dadi is.
Yeah.
And my dadi doesn't know who's behind Pond. She doesn't know Unilever company.
True.
If I bought 1,000 units from any D2C brand, they would put my photo in their office.
True.
And that's the difference really, right? Brands and customers are much closer together. If I have a bad experience on a flight, I have a bad experience with the product, and I post on my social media, and that brand doesn't reach out to me and solves the problem. My brother ordered a milkshake from a famous brand, and there was unfortunately a cockroach in that drink.
Okay.
So he wrote an email to the founders complaining to them. Within 2 hours, the founders called him, said, "We want to come to meet you where you are."
Wow.
They drove to where he was with 3 milkshakes and apologized to him.
So that's the power of the internet.
That's the power of the internet as well as what customers expect today.
Yeah.
If those founders did not act at that time, there would be a big problem. Because my brother would do
Of
what
course,
he had to do.
it would just escalate, right? So tell me something now. Like we see everything online, as we discussed. And do you think this is going to be saturated at some point? Like the amount of information that's just coming out of everywhere. Do you think there would be a time when there won't be any more influencers because people are just saturated, done with, you know, looking at people, talking, giving out information? And do you think we would take a step back from social media and, you know, return to...
I think people are already getting overstimulated with the number of brands, the number of ads, the number of products, the amount of pressure social puts on them as well. So I think that we are in a time when it's not new anymore.
Yes.
It's become a part of life, the way these algorithms work, they are addictive. And so I know a lot of people who don't have an Instagram
It's very manipulative and people are now seeing that.
And I know a lot of people who don't have an Instagram anymore. I have a
You don't have an Instagram anymore?
No, I know a lot of people
Okay.
who don't have an Instagram anymore. I do.
Yeah, of course, because
I have a 45-minute timer on my Instagram, for
Right,
example, right? And doom scrolling is very, very, very bad
yes,
behavior for a lot of people.
it takes a toll on
It
your
messes
mental
with your
Yes.
mind, really, right? So I think that there is overstimulation and saturation across
Hmm.
all fields. If you go on Amazon now, for that same Ayurvedic immunity booster, there are 50 brands.
Yes, and that
So
is so
customers
putting
are so
off.
confused where to buy from and what to buy.
And honestly, as a consumer, I do not have faith in any of them. These 50 people are claiming to be this. I have zero faith in all 50.
And so what is started happening now is that consumers have gone back to the age-old word of mouth.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm talking about. This
I'm
is
not
where
buying what an
getting-
influencer says.
Yes.
I'm not buying what a celebrity is endorsing.
Yes.
I'm buying what my friend, my cousin, or a friend of friend, or someone who I saw who could look like my friend and not a macro influencer said on Instagram.
Yeah. And people are actually pivoting to small brands, homemade brands, rather than these big
Correct.
brands who are hiring macro influencers
Correct.
for marketing.
Correct.
So yeah, this is very intriguing to me because I see even today, like the door-to-door deliveries there, the Kirana stores have been bearing the brunt of brands like Blinkit and all, right? So things are becoming way too comfortable for everybody. And
But let's talk about the flip side of that as well.
Yeah.
Right? The India we live in is a very special experience. See, we take it for granted that Blinkit and Swiggy and Zepto and all of these things exist. But I'll just tell you what happened in my last 15 hours, maybe. So I got to my hotel last night and I was a little bit hungry. So I went on Instamart and I ordered a bag of Super U chips, which
Okay.
reached me in 12 minutes in Aero City in Delhi. The night a bomb blast happened in that city.
Okay.
Right? Then I went to sleep. Before I went to sleep, I checked. I already checked into my flight. I uploaded that ticket to DigiYatra. I woke up in the morning. I called an Uber, which reached me in 1 minute. I got to the airport. I reached the airport about 55 minutes before my flight.
right.
Because of DigiYatra, I was at my gate within 15 minutes. I then came here because I've been traveling for the last 4 or 5 days. My back and neck, etc.,
Of
from
course.
all of that travel is hurting. So on my way here, I booked a sports massage on Urban Company for 7 p.m. today or 7:30 p.m. today when I reach my home.
Wow.
When I came here, they asked me for my ID in my room. I was checking into Uni Hotel. They asked me for my ID. I didn't have my physical ID. I had
Right.
only DigiLocker and my Aadhaar card and my driving license is on that. Now, we take all of this for granted, but in the last 10 years, and I didn't even talk about UPI because I didn't make any payments here,
Yeah.
right? In the last 10 years, the amount of ease that's been added to our life. Like,
Yes.
I used the Mumbai Metro the first time 10 days ago. And there's a prepaid card that you have to get, but for whatever
Right.
reason, the few times that I went there, the people weren't available to sell it. And so I buy the Metro ticket on an app. And I complained because I bought the ticket on an app and they give you a QR code.
Right.
And then when I went to scan that QR code, because there's no network inside the metro station,
Yes.
I had to go back up the escalator till I got network and
Yeah.
come back down. And my dad just looked at me and said, there was a time when you had to go to the station and buy a ticket.
Yes.
That time is gone.
Get in a queue, buy a ticket, and then get it verified. A whole process to it.
And my dad said, why didn't you just, how much was the ticket? I said, 40 rupees. He said, so why didn't you just buy a new ticket for 40 rupees? It's okay. It's a big
Yeah.
deal. I said, though there was a line of 6 people, I didn't want to wait.
Yeah.
While we're talking about all this saturation, etc., all of that, let's spare a moment to think कि life कितना आसान बन गया हमारे देश में.
मैं यही कह रही हूँ कि कुछ ज्यादा ही आसान बन गया है. Like, imagine the kind of impact. See, primarily, like when you were growing up, this was not the scenario, right?
Correct.
So you have been hardwired to work hard. But what about the generation that is not getting hardwired to work hard because everything is just a click away for them? What are they going to do? Imagine their future.
You know, it's also very interesting. There will be a generation in India that will not know how to buy from a grocery store anymore.
Exactly.
They will not know what a grocery store looks like.
Just spend
I
a
can tell
chill
you,
on down my spine.
जब मैं मॉल जाता हूँ अभी मैं तंग हो जाता हूँ.
Exactly.
Parking के लिए इतना
और हमारी
time-
patience deteriorate कर रही
पार्किंग
है.
के लिए इतना टाइम लगता है, इतने लोग हैं, एस्केलेटर के लिए रुकना पड़ता है.
But sir, हमारा attention span is completely
Our attention span is gone.
gone, right?
Attention.
And हमारी patience is zero now. And all of these things, imagine they are reflecting upon human behavior. So what kind of generation are we building up?
Correct. I think this with social media, with digital, with ease of life, with convenience.
Yeah.
ये सब चीजों में ना benefits भी है और problems भी है. And you have to be strict and rigid to use it for the right purpose.
See, जैसे अब industrial revolution आया, so all the climate activists were making a lot of noise about the climate change happening because of the revolution, but everybody was just turning a blind eye to them because इतना growth दिख
And
रहा
अभी बॉम्बे में नवंबर एंड में भी बारिश होने वाला है.
और अब हमें उसका impact नजर आ रहा है, and we know that the next generation is going to actually bear the brunt of this, right? मुझे ये चीज ये internet boom में दिख रही है, you know what industrial revolution did to the climate. The boom in internet is going to do to the next generation.
I hear what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I have a counter question to that. See, I think that जो भी innovations आते हैं, जो भी improvements आते हैं, जो बड़े improvements है, बड़ी technologies है, बड़े moves forward है, उन सब में opportunity cost रहती है. And so what I ask people who complain about all of this is, I say, I hear you, and there are problems with it. But would you rather have a world without? Because आप क्विक कॉमर्स के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं.
Yeah.
बहुत लोग अभी डिजिटल पेमेंट के बारे में बात करते हैं कि पहले ना मैं वॉलेट कैरी करता था. मेरे वॉलेट में 2,000-3,000 रुपए रहते थे. जब वो खत्म होता था ना मुझे पता चलता था.
Exactly. Yes.
अभी 200, 300, 400 रुपए के लिए मैं सोचता भी नहीं हूँ. एंड मुझे एंड ऑफ द मंथ पता चलता है कि मैंने कितने पैसे खर्च किए.
It's very depleting and it's very shocking कि हमने इतने खर्च भी कर दिए. So keeping track of money has also become like.
But the question I ask all these people is, would you rather have a world without all of it? And the answer is, for most of them, is not yes, I would rather have a world. And so you have to find in this world your way to get around this, right? So, for example, I had an issue at some point. मैंने मेरे फोन के notifications manage नहीं किए थे. तो सब ऐप के सब notifications हमेशा आते रहते थे.
Yeah.
And I put a post on LinkedIn saying like,
Constantly buzzing.
I put a post on LinkedIn saying, how do you manage this? And I got a lot of people saying, I shut off all notifications. When I'm working, I make my phone a landline. My internet is off. Only calls come through.
Right.
And only SMSs come through. So you have to find your way.
Strike a balance.
I have friends who delete Instagram from Monday to Friday and reinstall it on Saturday. Whatever works for you to ensure that you are using the positive aspects for it but still keeping yourself sane and productive.
Right, that's a great way of saying it, but I don't know, have a lingering feeling that this internet boom is going to spiral the entire generation down, the next generation at least.
Already people have spiraled.
And imagine हमारी जो older generation है, our dada dadi, our mom dad, like they are hooked to the internet. Like how? They are completely hooked to their screens. It is, my dad would pick up his iPad because he like loves imbibing information from all, like he's into investing, so he'll pick up his iPad, then his phone, then on TV he'll be watching YouTube. So you know how it is.
Too much
so
information overload.
Too much. So I have this little rapid fire round for you, very quick. Let's start with the first question. Worst business advice you ever received?
अब business क्यों try कर रहे हो? Dad के business join कर लो.
Oh God, that's a bad one. One product you would never sell even for $1 billion.
I'm very against betting.
Betting, okay.
I have no problem with people who bet. I'm just fundamentally against it because I think it exploits people who shouldn't be exploited.
I think that's a great call. The first thing you Google every morning.
I don't use Google anymore.
Really?
I have switched everything to LLM based search, so I put it on ChatGPT now.
So the first thing you put on ChatGPT.
Usually the score of some cricket or football game that I missed seeing the day before.
Okay, and do you think it, like, do you verify it? Because I don't trust ChatGPT. I always verify what I see there.
On these kind of questions, it would be correct. I think what it gets confused with is complicated questions.
Okay. The best business you invested in?
Cuckoo FM.
Oh, a nice one. The worst business you invested in?
I'm yet to find the worst one.
Okay, the one that is at the bottom rung.
No, look, a bunch of companies shut down. I wouldn't say they are bad businesses, but they shut down for whatever reason. Some shut down because the market didn't exist. Some shut down because regulation didn't support it. Some shut down because the founder took money at too high a valuation. So there's not many
do you have like one name for such a business?
I haven't invested in any of the scam companies, thank God.
Okay.
My brother did invest in Blue Smart, though that didn't go so well.
Oh. One business you regret not investing in?
A lot of businesses. I didn't invest in Zepto, which I should have. I didn't invest in Mokobara, which I should have. I didn't invest in Foxtail, which I should have. I didn't invest in XYXX, which I should have had the opportunity to. I didn't invest in Let's Try, which I should have. I didn't invest in Palmonas, which is a jewelry brand, Shraddha Kapoor's brand, which I should have.
Yes.
A lot of these companies.
Yeah, very upcoming. Your go-to mantra for life?
2. Nice guys don't finish last. You don't have to be a bad guy.
Right.
And the second one is that nothing in life can beat consistency and hard work.
Right. Great one. Best business advice you ever got?
The best way to start is to start.
Good one. Thank you so much for that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you are at the campus of LPU. What is the one advice you would love to give to all the youngsters watching you?
I'm not one for advice, but if I was to give advice, I wish I was in college again. Because the future is much brighter than the future that I graduated into.
Right.
And so use this time well to explore, to gain like a sponge, and then enjoy your life after, because it will be more exciting than the world I graduated into.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank
It was
you.
such a privilege talking to you and such an enlightening conversation.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you. I
Thank
had
you.
immense, like a great time talking
Thank
to
you.
you.